it's a little bit weird, but I have been throwing lots of polygons around, so I'm not going to complain too much. Again, okay, we're going to affect the pivot only and center it to the object, and then put that down at ground level. I'm going to right click, V-Ray Mesh Export. It should have remembered the project file. I've done the same thing, it's got a rubbish name. We're going to call this L-shaped topiary. L-shaped topiaries come up there. Automatically create proxies. It doesn't look like it's updated there, but it has. I click on it again, it will have updated there. Save selected as L-shaped topiary, but not V-Ray Mesh. We can save that as a max file. Great, so we've done the two trees, and now we need to do the bushes, the smaller scale bushes. So I'm going to reset the file again to the, I'm just going to open it before we'd collapsed all of that stuff there. I don't want to save my changes, I just want to open it as it was before. And yeah, it's taking a long time again because of the XREF scene. So I'm going to unhide the, I think it was this layer here, the bushes. Whoops. I press H and I choose box 01, which is the control object. Choose the element, delete it, and then attach the new one. Give it a minute. Right, we're not interested in these. We don't need those anymore, so we'll hide those. Right, there we go. Now the leaves are far too big, so we're going to go to the particle flow, to the particle view, and I'd like a little bit more definition than we're getting. In fact, if I right click and hide unselected, it's going to show us what we'll be rendering, and it's a little bit messy there. So I'm going to, the first thing I remember on the surface here, at the position object operator there, I asked for an offset, and that was because I wanted to make sure I was hiding any branches. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't want that anymore. And I think that's improved a little bit already. You know, I think I'm going to bring this figure way down. I'm going to halve it ish. Okay, now make the leaves smaller. So if I make them smaller here, I need to make them smaller there as well. So let's go back to 100%. And I want these to have less of a variation. Right, that's a better size. I think we need more of them, so we'll go back up to this berth here. I suppose there, as you think about how many leaves there are on a privet hedge, there are an awful lot more than there are on a big tree. So we had it at 25 before. Let's see what 30 is doing. And it's a shame we can't use the viewport percentages here, but because we are exporting it using the mesher to export the particle flow, we need the mesher will export this. It will export the number of leaves you see in the viewport. So there's no real way around that. You've got to at some stage have lots of particles in the viewport and see what you're getting. Alright, but that's going to work. That's fine. So we're going to export that as a view A mesh too. So very quickly, choose a mesher, create that in the scene somewhere. Again, reset the transform so it's in the center of the scene. Otherwise it will build the leaves off. I want them to be actually for this one it's not so important, but I want them to be on top of in the exact same position as the particle flow. Convert to an editable mesh. I need to grab the material this time because I'm not going to add this mesher to the trunk object which already had the material, so I'm going to add it now. I'm going to reset the pivot point to the center of it, and again just reset the Z so it's on the floor. I'm going to give it a proper name. It's a hedge, I suppose. Right click, view a mesh export. Project folder is fine. The name is fine. Automatically create proxies, fine. Press OK. There we go. File, save as, save selected. Topiary hedge, but I want to get rid of that VUA mesh on the end there, because I'm saving this as a max file. And we're done. Now I'm not going to save anything in this scene because I'm going to render this all together now, and I may not be happy, so I'll be able to come back here and change all the values. Okay, so we'll open the other scene. So I'm going to open example garden 3, making sure I don't save any changes there. And you'll notice you can see the tall grass in this scene, because in this scene the layer state has been saved for the V-Ray proxies to be on, but in the other scene we were working on they were off, so that's why they were appearing and disappearing there, which is confusing, but it's also really useful that it does that, like I said before, if you've got a big scene. So we need to bring in the V-Ray meshes, and I'm going to go to import, file, merge. I should have 3 max files to bring in, and those max files will bring in the V-Ray meshes with materials already added to them. And I think I'm actually going to change the material on the hedges because I want them to match the obelisks that we already have. The first one I'll bring in is this guy, L-shaped topiary 01. There we go. We'll bring them all in first and then arrange them. So File, Import, Merge. The rectangular topiary 01. Bring that one in. I'm going to use the scene material because it's using the material off this guy already. Import, merge the hedge. I'm going to use the scene material, but I'm actually I want to replace that. I want this to have the same material as this. I want it to appear different to the trees. So I'll open up the material editor. I believe it's that material there. We can check. We can go to select by material, and yeah, that's picking all the V-Ray plant clipped obelisks. So if I selected those, you'd see it's selecting those, which is this material here. So choose it, and I'm going to apply that same material there. Unhide everything. Okay, everything's unhidden already. I needed a guide for the to place these trees. Maybe it's still a spline. We'll have to check here. A layer. I think I have deleted it from the scene, which isn't particularly useful. I'm going to bring it back in. I'm going to XREF it back in so I know what I'm doing. Okay, go to File, References, File Link Manager, File, okay, go to the Project folder, choose a DWG, Example Garden 001, open it, select Layers to Include, click Select from List. I want to choose 008 Formal Trees. And attach it. I'm just going to minimize that down to there for the moment. And I'm going to choose that layer, and I'm also going to choose those two V-Ray proxies, hide everything else. So we need another one of those here. And then we need some more. Choosing instances, because they're V-Ray proxies, there wouldn't be much point not using instances there. So they're in the right place. I'm going to bring up that File Link Manager dialog, go to Files and detach that. I'm done with that guide now.